Hello and welcome to Access Community Television, shamelessly promoting our friends and community. And with me today is Paul Taylor, editor of the Carnegie newsletter for almost 30 years, doing it as a volunteer. Terrific work, Paul. Thanks for being on the show to talk about the newsletter.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Almost 30 years now as editing. There must have been some high points and there must have been some low points. I just want to ask you, what are some of the high points for you, Paul?
The high points are talking about issues that really matter to people in the neighborhood. Best example is the murdered and missing women. The Carnegie paper, people began to write about this strange, terrible thing that was happening almost 2 years before anybody else. Other people have written stuff that have gone on to publish their own books. Sandy Cameron, a really good writer and a historian of the downtown, he's had his work picked up by national publications. Bud Osborne was the poet emeritus, the poet laureate of the downtown east side. When he first got here, he was a heroin addict. And when I first printed some of his work, he was amazed that people actually accepted him for who he was. And he went from there to be a community activist for years.
I'm a regular reader of the Carnegie newsletter. I picked it up. I've been reading it, as I said, for almost 30 years. What I really liked is, as you say, the new people, and now it's still continuing, right? There are writers that are getting published in there for the first time, and it's really quite heartening to see. I was just wondering what some of the low points are, Paul.
Well, the low points are when certain people of vested interests get really angry about what's being written and try to kill the paper. Since 2008, one of the major problems has been raising enough money to pay for the printing. That's the only cost that we have. Some office supplies and to get food for volunteers. But the money is just dried up, or people can't see why they should bother supporting the Carnegie paper.
Well, I guess we'll do a shameless plug right now, and I know that the Carnegie newsletter is at www.carnegienewsletter.org, and I know that on the top bar there's a donate button.
Oh, that's right. That's the best way for people to do it online. People can drop in with a check, with cash. Any amount helps. But the more people can help, the better it is, because we try and have 23 issues a year. There's more than enough content, and being that this is the poorest postal code in Canada, keeping the paper going for this long, it's been our community effort for sure.
Well, for me, to me, the Carnegie newsletter is almost the epitome of what a newsletter should do. You inform the community. It's done by the community. People come in and contribute to it, and I know that it's very effective in getting out to the community. And now that you have the online version of it, which can be taken, as we said, at www.carnegienewsletter.org. I'm just thinking about beyond the fundraising, which you just had a fundraiser at the St. James Hall, and you raised a few dollars. How much more do you need? What's needed to get you through the year?
To get through the year, we need about $11,000 more. We raised $3,000 in one night, and in this area, that's good. And there were a lot of local people that came to that event. But the printing of the Carnegie paper costs about $13,000 a year. There's also a resource guide called Help in the Downtown East Side that we've always raised money for outside the newsletter. That is $3,000 per update, and 2 per year would be great.
We've got to go pretty soon, Paul. Thanks for being with us, and www.carnegienewsletter.org. Hit the donation button.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You've been watching Access Community Television. I've been here with Paul Taylor, the editor of the Carnegie newsletter. And please donate, give it a hand. Thank you for watching. Straight shooting and tight edits to you.
Called We Owe You, the downtown East Side's most widely read paper about the downtown East Side. Nothing else like it in the city. The longest survivor, what else is there? Deeply committed to the cause of our community, fearless, entertaining, moving, adventuresome with the facts, passionate, committed, a must-read. Consistency, issue after issue and month after month, year after year and decade after decade. Thanks to the commitment of the volunteer staff working with the downtown East Side, for the downtown East Side, and about the downtown East Side. It educates about the downtown East Side community. It advocates for issues and concerns of our community. It speaks our values to the larger city and beyond. A gold mine of writing, giving voice to the low-income community of the downtown East Side, informing, illuminating, opening our eyes to gentrification and displacement, opening our hearts to the conditions of the SROs and the need for affordable housing. Nothing like it at any other community center in this city. Participant-driven, anarchistic, produced with hours of volunteer work, represents what real democracy is. Not city-funded, not city propaganda, it's real. And suits have come up the stairwell to the Carnegie office, and Paul didn't give a SHIT. Our community is not a rich community, but the newsletter brings out our richness. It brings out the beauty of our community. It sheds lights on the lives of the community, the stories of the daily lives of the community. We come alive through the Carnegie newsletter. Our tears, our laughter, our beauty, our pain. This chronicler of our community gives us reason to exist, and for decades, through all kinds of change, it's still there, it's still here. The voice, our phoenix, community-run and community-owned. We don't have access to the Globe and Mail, the Province and the Sun. Like no other, the Carnegie newsletter shares the voices coming out of the wilderness, shares the voices that the mainstream will not publish, an essential paper that people look forward to. No other newsletter tracks the lives of our diverse community, the news and the views from the heart of our community, a major source for people to have a say through poetry, words, and art. Rough and refined, raw and sublime, black and white, scissor cut from loving old school hands, beloved for its wonderful haphazard design. The layout is unique. It is, unintended, appalling. Month after month, issue after issue, the newsletter of Bud Osborne, Robin Livingston, Stephen Litton, Muriel Williams. The newsletter of Jim Dewar, Robert McGillivray, Ellis, Kelly Stewart, and Sandy Cameron. The newsletter of Rita Wong, DJ Bruce, Al Wilhelmina Mary, and John Allen Douglas. The newsletter of Stephen Belkin, Dave Jaffe, Diane Neufeld, John Goodall, and Skippy the tie-dyed mascot. The newsletter of Marlene Watney, Clarence, Henry George, Gary Gust, and Fuckhead Jones. Here we hear a different mindset. Incredible, our editor Paul, giving voice to those not recognized and easily dismissed, honest and accessible. The writing may be brilliant, it may be perfect, as we are brilliant and we are imperfect. And there is fun in there. The pencil comics, simple but funny. The Carnegie newsletter uncloaks, a place to be emotionally naked, to reveal ourselves, a place to be trusted, sweetness, fearless, surviving through laughter. Read enough and see how people improve. Read enough and learn about other people. It is where the heart is, and it comes from the heart. Here, a lot of people come from bitter roots. Carnegie newsletter helps us find our beauty. It's like, wow, it's so good. People may move away from our community, but they stay connected through the newsletter. People subscribe from Central America to Smithers, BC. Keeps us connected, keeps us in touch with each other, with what's going on, with what's going down, a piece of the neighborhood, very important writing in it, and it's terrible to think of it not being here. Generally, for the people, a downtown east side broadsheet, a cornucopia of ideas, open and accessible, and run with no board of political correctness. Represents multiple points of view. Don't buy this, it's free! We owe the Carnegie newsletter, and we are here because we are grateful. We give thanks for your generosity. We are here to salute you. We say thank you, Carnegie newsletter. We say hooray for the Carnegie newsletter. We owe you! That's it, ladies and gentlemen.